Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2017 video. Today we are doing a scenario by Chris Horsfield again. This one is amazing because 24 hours ago I was recording the 365 scenario, and after that I texted him just saying, messaged him just saying I'd found my my sprinter manual. It's an older Riva Trains Northern one. It's actually from 2004, so chronologically wise it's one of my newest manuals. And I said I'd like a sprinter scenario, and I was trying to find one particularly from Middlesbrough to wherever on the DP Simulations East Coast Mainline version 1.4, and there wasn't anything about. So he was like, oh, I'll put your scenario together, and lo and behold, probably less than 24 hours later I'm sitting here about to play it. This is an empty coaching stock run. Part of the reason as well I wanted to do a sprinter scenario is the superalbs reskins, which I'll show you in a second on these. They are superb. Absolutely superb. Credit where credit's due to both of those blokes for this video again. There's also a lot of the reskins are from Brad Harden to BH Reskins. His stuff's on Facebook. You can find him on there. I will link to his page again like the last video. So let's get going. I've just read something that's upset me. I have not done the scenario. You're seeing this for the first time, and also you will also be seeing all the scenario stuff at Newcastle as well, because Chris did test this scenario, but he was running so late that he missed all the good bits at Newcastle. So let's have a look and see what we're doing. Good evening, driver. Today's duty is train 5 Delta 70. It's a 4-car clunker consisting of 2 Class 156 set and a 2 Car 142 set, which I noticed as I was reading this and talking to you, which I can't say I'm massively pleased for. Cheers, Chris. From here at Middlesbrough to Heaton Depot, departing at 2025. Before departure, ensure that the tail lights are switched on at the rear of the train. There is a scheduled stop of 7 minutes in Newcastle. However, you may get the road to depart Newcastle a few minutes early. Remember, speed must not exceed 75 miles an hour at any time, regardless of actual line speed. These old biddies don't like to be thrown about the tracks. You're not far wrong there with paces, Chris, but I'll have you know that my Metcam 156s are super duper. Right, let's have a quick look. That'll be him messaging now, but I'm not going to read it while I'm doing this. First of all, let's get in here set up, and then we'll have a look down the train as we go and do the tail lights. Destination lights on, headlight right, marker light on, NRN test, master keys in.
Test message from 156 NRN radio, over. Message received, low clear, over. Thanks for that message.
Excellent. Let's go and switch our tail lights on. See what I mean about this livery? This is the We Are Northern one. I haven't got my marker lights on. See, that's why you have to go and check when you take over a service, is check that you've got everything on. Lights. Where are my marker lights? Headlight, destination light, marker lights there, sorry. Being in Egypt, right. So yes, this livery is pretty stunning, isn't it? Let's try and forget what's on the back of this. I can't hate a Pacer too much. I mean, they were designed for a purpose and they fulfilled it to a point. Tail lights on this thing there. No, I don't want marker, I want tail. Alright then, 25, we're 30 seconds late. So, this is a empty coaching stock scenario. I think we've got loads of VIA points which are due to it being the working timetable. And they were in there, so Chris will put them in. Remember what I was saying about him being pretty particular when it comes to his stuff. So we actually don't stop until Newcastle. Platform 5, and that's in a fair while, about an hour. Cool, that gives us plenty of time to talk through the manual, and also admire this fantastic freeware route. I will link the website again in the description below. Quick shout outs, cheers to all those people who commented about my cab view being forward or back. I'll wait until I've got a few more before I make the final decision. and I'll work out if I can get it just a tad back and not too far back, but we'll see how we go. So I'll wait until we've got a half decent stretch of line speed, and then we'll sort of get going. From driving this previously in quick drives, this bit's a bit, it's 45, 60, 55, 35, so we'll hold on for a little while. I'm also using the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 156 pack. Also covers the 150 and the 153. Again, I'll link that in the description below. So this manual itself is from the Train Crew Standards Department of Arriva Trains Northern, and it was issue 2, and it's June 2004. So this covers all the sprinters, apart from, I think it does have 155 in it as well. I know they didn't have it. Let's have a look. Working instructions, yeah, 150, 153, 155 and 156. So remember the 158, even though it is classed as Sprinter, it's not, it's Sprinter Express. So it has slightly different drivetrain and engines. Hence why it's not included in this. So we can whack it up a little bit here, look. Down to 50, so at least take it up to sort of 50. I want to try and keep the timings as best we can. We're already running about a minute down. Just found a bit about a Martin airbox, which I've never read. We'll have a read of that. It looks relatively interesting. It's about controls and compressors for different bits of, what did I read? Air feed. Yes, it's got a fill valve, a primary influence valve, a neutral valve, forward valve and reverse valve. We'll have a read of whatever that does in a minute. This is a pretty detailed manual. I think there's something like 80 odd pages of this one, so it is a pretty big one. Bit overzealous with my braking there. Let's just keep it there. So we've read that they're all the above components are controlled via the Martin airbox. So that's Martin, M-A-R-T-O-N. Within this device, the 5 valves, these being fill valve. This device operates when the power controller is moved to a power position, allowing oil into the torque converter under the control of air pressure. At the control valve, the oil flows to the control piston Then when the road speed has reached between 35 and 45 miles per hour, it transfers the oil to the fluid coupling. All of this works in conjunction with the primary influence valve. Right, so that's the thing we get at 35. This thing sort of jumps slightly. That's cool. Primary influence valve. This device operates when the power controller is moved to a power position, but does not operate until a speed of 35 miles per hour is reached. This is sensed by a speed governor. Oil under pressure flows to the control box valve, moving the piston down and thus sending the transmission oil to the fluid coupling. This action has the effect of reducing the engine revolutions and therefore enables the unit to increase speed. It's like the controller for the gearbox. Yeah, so far, are we there? This is pretty technical even for me. And for a driver's manual, this is, yeah. I don't know if you get any of this in the old BR manuals, if I'm honest. And then there's a forward valve. I think we can guess what this does. This device allows air to flow from the forward valve of the forward and reverse piston within the reversing mechanism. The reverse valve. This device allows air to flow from the reverse valve to the forward and reverse piston within the reversing mechanism. Okay. I'm kind of there. I'm kind of there. That's pretty heavy going, isn't it? We're, what are we, a couple of minutes into this video? Not even 10 minutes, I wouldn't think. And we're already pretty heavy in. An isolating cock is provided. Gearbox control. An isolating cock is provided. Gearbox control. CBIC. GCIC. So that's gearbox isolation cock or gear. GC isolation cock? Don't know. If this is isolating cock in the isolate position, then power cannot be obtained on that particular vehicle. However, the engine will rev when power is taken. Note that the forward and reverse direction cannot be selected on that vehicle. Alright. So now we go on to the hydrostatic system. So we've got up to 60, down to 30, up to 45. This is a windy old route. Chris did say that this is usually done just paces, this run, but he managed to find one that did have a 156 bolted on the front of it, but it can't quite keep the same time. He said the acceleration's slightly better on the paces. I don't know, if I'm honest. I think the acceleration's probably a bit lighter, isn't it? Less wheels. Yeah, it's going to have faster acceleration. It's going to be a lot lighter. The hydrostatic system on the 15X provides, so when I say 15X, let's make this clear now, it is just on the Sprinter series, right? Provides a drive for the radiator fan via standard axial plunger type oil pump, which drives an axial plunger motor as previously fitted to other types of units for the cooling fan. Knew that was coming. The hydrostatic oil reservoir is fitted with the oil sight glass, markings on minimum and maximum. The oil level should be between these two levels. So you can actually see that, and it is labelled. I think on... You can see it quite clearly on 153s, am I right? Is it 153s that have it on the body side? I think it is, you know. Well, do you know, I'm saying that like I can't check. I've got the manual in front of me. Or I might be completely wrong and it'll be something like the toilet filler sign or something. So next it goes on to the alternator. That's a cool little junction, that. I like that. And this is specifically on the 150-2s. The three-phase alternators, two on the class 150-2s, are shaft-driven from the free end of the engine and supply both the start and auxiliary batteries. I was half reading that and then realised I need to get past this before I put some power on. So yeah, 3-phase alternators, 2 on class 150-2 units, are shaft driven from the free end of the engine and supply both the start and auxiliary batteries. A regulator is used to maintain constant output voltage with varying engine speeds. The supply of the power is charging 2 sets of batteries at 24 volts protected by MCBs. So the start batteries feed the following circuits: starter motor, local control, communication supply, auxiliary heater, fault indicator, remote supply, train heating, door control, earth, PA, brake supply, TPWS, door supply, track circuit actuators and fire circuits. So that to me screams safety critical. The auxiliary batteries feed the following circuits: saloon ventilation, heated screens, emergency lighting, track circuit actuator, disabled toilet, saloon heaters, heat control, end lighting, catering sockets, cab heating, main lighting, auxiliary control, radio, telephone. Some fire lights, fire emergency lighting, is that classed as safety critical for the run-in? I don't know. I'd think so. It kind of has emergency in the title, doesn't it? So I think it sort of should be. But you never know with the railways. There's some really quite bonky rules when it comes down to it. Cool little crossing here. And a signal box. It's rare these days that I get to drive on a route that has actual signal boxes. I'm pretty sure that I don't know if that one actually in real life is still up and running or if it's boarded up, but it's there in this, and I like that. So next we go into the radiator fan. The radiator fan will operate to reduce the temperature of the engine coolant, keeping the coolant at the optimum working temperature. At 93 degrees C, a temperature bypass valve will operate to switch the radiator fan to operate at full speed for maximum cooling. When the cooling temperature falls to 81 degrees C, the valve closes to stop the fan. So we're used to that. Note, on preparation, observation of the hydrostatic oil level must be made due to the fact that as a result of low oil level pressure, the above mentioned equipment will not operate, resulting in the following: loss of cooling drive fan, high water temperature, hence loss of traction power on that particular vehicle. So I've had quite a funny, I think I might have mentioned it before, the Norwich to Liverpool service is usually run by 158s, the East Midlands trains ones, and there was obviously a stock shortage. One of the last times I was in, no it wasn't, it was when I went to pick up my dog, to pick up a puppy in Norwich. So what's Rosie now? 2, so 2 years ago. Older than that, 3, 2. It doesn't really matter, does it? You don't really need to know how old one of my dogs are. Anyway, I was in Norwich, and as we pulled into the station, there was just ahead of us a 158 and 156 combo, and we pulled in just beside it, and as we got off I could just see steam billowing out the bottom of this 156, and I just sort of saw the driver up at the other end and just said, you're kicking out a load of steam back there, mate. And he goes, yeah, you ever tried running a 156 from Liverpool? It's bloody ridiculous. He didn't even seem that phased, wasn't that fussed in the slightest. He packed up his bag and sauntered off. I thought, good man, I'd have probably done the same. That's not true. I'd have gone and poked at it. Right, so next we go on to the 153 cooling water system. This sort of stuff isn't in any of the other manuals. It's like nowadays drivers are, and I noticed this with quite a lot of the more recent manuals, drivers are required to know a lot more. I think back in the old days it was a bit of, well, if it buggers up, call a fitter. And you'd think that would have got less. That would have got more in today's more health and safety conscious world. You'd think they really wouldn't be allowed to do much more. But these manuals make it, like, give you a lot more information than the other ones. If there's any of you guys out there that are old school drivers, I might ask this on the BROS Facebook group and just check what they say, but it does seem a bit weird. Right, back to cooling water systems, because it is something I don't particularly haven't really thought about too much on a train. The cooling system of class 153 is a standard Cummins 15X system. To prevent a complete failure due to a loss of coolant, an emergency filler is available from the toilet header tank. Yes, I knew this. To utilise this, you can operate a plunger which is located adjacent to the sight glass on the exterior of the unit behind a self-latching flap that displays a yellow flag when the cover is opened. So this is the thing that was on the body side, isn't it? This is where I was getting mixed up. Why I knew this, I don't know. This will allow 5 litres or slightly more than 1 gallon. Oh no, it says this will allow 5 litres, and then it's in brackets, slightly more than 1 gallon of water from the toilet header tank to flow to the cooling system header tank. This gets you home, in quotation marks, facility can be operated as often as required to get the train to a suitable location to facilitate a repair, where the train can be taken out of service. Now I must have read that myself somewhere. If I am missing any whistle boards or anything, I do apologise, it's because I'm reading. It should be noticed that this might only be carried out on emergency to get you home. When maintenance staff are not available to make a repair, any time you use this facility, an entry must be made in the repair book. And that tells you how to do it. It says, check the coolant glass is empty, release the coolant filling cap. Note! Exercise extreme care when releasing the coolant filling cap to prevent a scald injury due to the pressurised system. Any of you that have messed about with old cars, we've all done it, haven't you? Sort of shimmy it open slightly, and then kind of knock it off or something so you don't get burnt to death. Modern cars, it's even worse with expansion tanks, isn't it? I've not had to open one of them, to be honest with you. Release and lift the cover using a carriage key to press the water transfer plunger. Water will now flow from the toilet header tank to the coolant system header tank. So in theory, right, wouldn't that be under pressure as well? So could that blow back? Oh no, because you release the coolant filler cap. Oh god, silly me, you'd release the coolant filler cap for that reason and to allow the water to go in without bubbling everywhere. If it is evidence that there is no flow of water, check that the isolating cock located under 2 TCA cupboard is in line with the pipe. If you believe that there is no toilet water, confirm this by attempting a toilet flush. Releasing the latched cover additionally gives a visual indication to maintenance staff that you have added untreated water to the cooling system. Replace the filler cap, reset the indication on the diagnostic panel if fitted. This will also extinguish the driver's light on the driver's desk. Diagnostic panel on a 153. Endorse the repair book. So yeah, it is the coolant sight glasses on the side of the 153. It is what I thought. And the filler cap. So you see in the middle of a 153 you get that little square, then a circle, then another little square slightly below it. Now you know what that is, if you hadn't already read it, like I probably had, and that's why I knew it. But I've told you anyway. The 153s are pretty cool because they managed to whack quite a lot in them. Because they were, of course, converted from 155s. Good God, 60, 35, 30. Looks like we're coming up to the East Coast Main Line soon anyway. And my frame rate has gone pretty low there for a second. Back to normal. Main air systems we'll sort out when we are the other side of Darlington. Gonna get a little bit better with the brakes on this. I haven't done my marker lights. Irritating. Oh, I feel a little bit more comfortable now. I've got some overhead lines above me, and I'm on a bit of track that I know. And then there's one of the PH reskins, and superalbs had a bit to do with them as well. The new HST MTU enhancement pack ones. So, sorry, that just came out as gobbledygook, didn't it? So they did have the superalbs had the reskins out before for the HSTs, but they weren't compatible with the Armstrong Powerhouse MTU enhancement pack. Now they are. There's a new whole set, and they're a lovely bit of kit. I will do a video specifically on one of those soon when I get the time. We can bazz up a bit with speed, can't we? No, we've just got a double yellow. Let's just have another lovely look at what is going on with my marker lights. Alright, that's weird. That's really weird because I tested this reskin out earlier and they were working. Because the tail lights work, don't they? Yeah. Okay. That's probably an issue my end, or it might even be to do with the fact we've got the 142 on the back. That's it, Alan. Blame the bloody pacer. I am going to. It's got about half an hour. I think it was 29 minutes past we got into Newcastle. No, 19 minutes past. 40 minutes. No, half an hour. Don't worry, I'm crap at maths. It's all the time I'm crap at maths. So, main air system. The air to charge the system is provided by the engine-driven compressor on each vehicle. Air is drawn through a dry type filter, which cleans the air for both the main air system and the engine. This is fitted with a cleanliness indicator, normally green, and if it displays a red, then an entry must be displayed in the repair book. The unit may still enter service, however you might find that the unit this is a hard read. You might find that the unit could be underpowered as a result. The air is forced through an aftercooler on the 156 units. An isolated cock is provided for summer and winter settings. The responsibility of fitting staff, so drivers not for you. Air then flows via check valves and filters to the main reservoir tank. From there it feeds to the main reservoir pipe via an isolated cock. So it's got two settings. What is this saying? Because my last one actually was double yellow, wasn't it, I think? No, we've got a green. As the compressor is engine driven, it will create pressure all the time that the engine is running. There is now a need to release any excess air pressure. An unloader valve achieves this and will maintain air pressure between 6.6 and 7.6 bar. If the unloader valve becomes defective in the unload position, it can be isolated by operating the compressor governor isolating cock on class 150-2 156 units. This being pneumatic. Main reservoir governing isolating cock, class 153/5, or 153 and 155. This being electro-pneumatic. The system is protected by two safety valves, one set at 8.3 bar and the other set at 9 bar. If the main reservoir pressure rises above 9, then the engine must be shut down. With the compressor governor isolated, a check should be made to ensure that the safety valves are operating. The main reservoir air is required for the following systems: air suspension doors and brakes. Oh, remember what he said. These old biddies don't like being thrown about. I'm sure they don't with that bouncy castle behind me. Bouncy castle, or nodding donkey, as I've heard them referred to. Then got a few diagrams of the air system. That sort of bit we've covered in a lot of other videos, and it doesn't differ from that. Oh, this is the preparation stuff. And we've got some faults. Cab bits and pieces. Let's find something a bit juicy, shall we? And if we can't, don't worry, because I seem to not be able to talk today. Oh, driver's emergency equipment cupboards. Let's see what should be in there. So, driver's emergency equipment cupboard on the class 150-2. The emergency equipment cupboard is located in the vestibule corridor behind the driving compartment, and the contents are as shown. A Schrader air connection to supply the main reservoir from an existing locomotive or another unit in case of a Rose valve failure by using two Schrader pipes. An uncouple lever for manually uncoupling the units when required. A transmission isolating handle for maintenance staff to use only, so that'll be to, I'm guessing, isolate the final drives. The 153 emergency equipment cupboard is located in the vestibule corridor behind the driving compartment. The contents are as shown. Schrader connection to assist, and that's it. And then on the 155, as an uncouple lever, Schrader connection wrapped around the TPWS equipment within the bulkhead. Alright. Driver's emergency equipment cupboard in the class 156 is located in the vestibule corridor behind the driving compartment, and the contents are as shown. Schrader connection, uncouple lever, gearbox isolating handle for maintenance staff use only. Red tube, which is provided for opening reservoir drain cocks when required to drain individual surge tanks. Maybe we'll come on to those in a bit. I don't know. Oh, there's a thing here called a fault indicator panel, a FIP. So my guess is this is what it was on about when it was talking about a diagnostic panel. The emergency equipment cupboard is located at the saloon end number 2, and the fault indication panel is located behind the emergency equipment cupboard. The cupboard door is unlocked with a carriage key and must be fully open to access the fault indication panel. Listed below are the fault indications panel, track circuit actuator fault lights. Right, so it's like the TCA fault lights. Track circuit actuators. What these, I don't know if it goes into it on there, that will give you a proper description. But what these basically are is, let me just have a look if I can find what track circuit actuators are for you. I know what they are. They're for making sure that you activate track circuits, because 153s and sprinters back in the day weren't heavy enough, but also they were getting leaf mulch, the old leaves on the line story again. Yeah, if you look, these lovely units were all disc braked. So on, actually, the Pace is tread braked as well. I think Paces were tread braked. It's a very pretty skin in it. I just can't quite work out what's going on with my mark lights. Probably installed it wrong somewhere or something. So, leaf mulch would get compressed onto the wheel rims because the disc brakes don't actually touch the actual face of the wheel. So there's no the tread. It's got a name. I'm sure it has got a name. The tyre, I suppose, and that's what they do call it, is tyre turning. So the leaf mulch would just get all black and thick around that, so it would disrupt the electrical connection between the track and the train. So signal boxes couldn't see where they were, so just get stopped at red lights, or worse, they'd go into a section and not activate it, so therefore it'd still be green. So they put these track circuit actuators on, which I think they pass a bit of current onto the wheels, I think, by some brushes, am I right? Onto the axles, I think. I'm not completely sure, but we'll find out as we keep going, I think. So yeah, that diagnostic panel is just has track circuit actuator, fault lamp, and test button illuminates. What? So it just has a TCA fault lamp and a TCA operation blue lamp. That's it. Not much of a diagnostic panel then, is it? Maybe there might be some other sort of diagnostic panel that I haven't looked at. The heating, oh, this is heating and lighting, cool. The heating for the saloon, toilet, wash basin and driving compartment is provided from the engine's waste heat. Fans are provided in the driving compartment and within the saloon on the Class 150-2, 153 and 155 units. On Class 156 units, the fans are part of the heating and ventilation unit, which is situated outside the saloon below the soul bar level, supplying warm air in at a constant 21 degrees C, via ducting to heat passenger accommodation. An auxiliary heater is fitted to top up the heat when the engine coolant is not at optimum temperature. This heater also provides the heat when preheating the engine is required for starting during cold weather conditions. Is there an engine preheat? It might actually be an external thing, you know. Let's have a look. Nothing up there. To be fair, actually, we can stick the heating on in here. But it's summer, I've just remembered, so we don't need that. On 150-2 units, the heater isolating cocks are located under the seating within the saloon area in two groups of four. 4 for the supply side and 4 for the return, enabling isolation of a quarter of the saloon if required. Class 156 units, 1 heater isolating cock is provided. This is external, adjacent to the heat vent unit. Note that the battery isolating switches should be left in the closed position to provide an electrical supply to the auxiliary heater. These units are fitted with frost protection, which automatically starts the auxiliary heater when the external temperature falls below 1.7 degrees C, warming the coolant which circulates via a heat exchanger to prevent the fuel system from freezing. So that is why. So that auxiliary heater there You wouldn't isolate it, because then if it did get cold, you'd be buggered. So we keep that on, and now I can't turn it back off. There. Oh, and I missed a 91. I need to go and check something. Those of you that watch my 365 video understand this. Oh, TVT. Man, Christian might have a bit of a celeb on the back here. Yep, the Scotsman. Oh, am I doing a bit fast again? Just up near Durham, aren't we? Yep. Lighting is provided throughout the unit, controlled by push buttons located in the driving compartments. Note to conserve fuel that 15 minutes after the direction selector has been placed in the off and the key removed, the engines will shut down. To ensure the auxiliary battery is not discharged, the lighting will revert to emergency lighting for 30 minutes after the engine shuts down and the resultant loss of battery charging. If required, the main lights can be regained for a further 30 minutes by pressing the lights on button. This can be continued until the low voltage protection cuts the supply completely, whereupon all lights will be extinguished. If illumination fails in service, then check should be made to the lighting MCBs, which are located in the driving compartment above the driver's seat. I feel like an air hostess showing you where these are. So there's lighting 1 MCB, it will be something like that, it will say. There are saloon lights 1, emergency lights 1, emergency lights 2, saloon lights 2, saloon fans and that. Yep, so that's where they are. The alternator and battery fitted to each vehicle. Whoa! Made me jump a bit. Oh, I've taken the avoiding line at Durham. Does that mean we're going to get held? Nope. Right, where were we? The alternator and battery fit to each vehicle supply the light for that vehicle only. Therefore, the alternator and battery of one vehicle cannot provide light supply to another. A Bardic headlamp or battery electric tail lamp may be used to provide frontal lighting to clear the line and or run to a place where a repair can be carried out or replacement unit provided. I don't have a Bardic. I wish I did. This is one of my favourite bits on this route. Favourite bit on the railway, one of the favourite bits on the railway East Coast Main Line as well, seeing Durham Cathedral, and you can like really see into the town. And the fencing, which I don't think, yeah they have, they've got the slanty fencing. Love it. I think Durham must have got quite an upgrade in the sort of on the electrification period, so late 80s, early 90s. Because I remember it looking crisp and like really meeting old with new. Starting to sound a bit like Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen there, but you know what I mean. Back to the good stuff. Where were we? We did heating and lighting. Let's have a look. So this is general instructions for the BSI couplers. The vehicles with BSI couplers must not make contact with buffer stops or vehicles with couplers or couplings of a different type, unless the appropriate adapter or coupling or barrier vehicle is in use. Where customers are on board, vehicle movements for coupling, a simple public address announcement must be made explaining this and for them to remain seated. This is just basically to stop them falling over. Normal operations, these trains can couple and multiple with any of the class 15X or 14X trains. When coupling to another 15X or 158 series unit, except 153, then a maximum of 12 cars may be made. So that is because 153s are still classed as 2-car vehicles. Even though they are 1 car, when it comes to making a consist up, they are still 2 cars. It's about to go. Goddamn tell you that now, isn't it? When coupled to a 153, the 153 must be considered to count as 2 vehicles. 5X 153 and a 2-car 156 must be considered as a 12-vehicle train. Imagine that. 5 times 153s and 2-car 156. That'd be quite a sight to see, that, wouldn't it? When coupling to any formation which includes a 14X unit, a maximum of 8 vehicles can be used. So compatible classes 142, 143, 144, 150, 150, 153, 155, 156 and 158. 170s, I'm pretty sure can couple up to 156s. I think in the Central Trains days they did that quite regularly. Pretty sure they can. Caution: if coupled in multiple, the maximum speed must not exceed that of the lowest speed coupled unit when under power or coasting, unless any lower speed restrictions apply. How are we doing time wise? 21:19, ETA 21:22. He did say good luck at keeping to the time. It's quite an interesting little bit that I haven't seen in some of these others before. A divided train. If the train becomes divided, the couplers must not be recoupled without authority from maintenance staff. This means the couplers at the front and back, not the inter-vehicle couplings. Where vehicles can be recoupled, the vestibule doors and gangway must be prohibited from use. There's actually a very good Wessex Trains coupling video. If you want to know about coupling procedures, have a look at that. That's on YouTube as well. Barrier vehicles, again something you wouldn't get in the older BR manuals. General requirements: barrier vehicles are used for planned movements for trains which require to be hauled and have incompatible couplings. A barrier vehicle must be used that has the appropriate BSI coupling fitted between the hauling train and the haul train. The method of coupling and uncoupling the BSI coupler on a barrier vehicle should be carried out in accordance with the appropriate instructions contained within this publication. Braking instructions and regulations, an appropriate section or appendix, frontispace. That's a word I've never seen before, but hey, frontispiece. It's a bit fancy for me. Don't get that word in the NHS. Whatever that is must be observed. I don't know if it's a spelling mistake. It's FRONTISPIECE. I'm going to look it up, but I can't do that now because I've got nothing to look it up on with me. Keep going to 76. We've just got a slightly faulty speedo, that's all it is, you see. It's plus or minus 3 miles an hour or something for trains, isn't it? So there's a note at the bottom of the barrier vehicle bit. In certain circumstances it may be necessary or desirable to haul the train using barrier vehicles with the air suspension inflated and other pneumatic equipment operable. In these circumstances, a through-air brake pipe will be placed through the interior of the train by means of a routing through the cab window and the ends coupled to the brake pipe hose on the front and rear of the barrier vehicles. When this method of operation is to be used, advice must be sought and authority obtained from the maintenance staff as to the pneumatic systems on the train. So you will have seen that, I think even on the S stock, the London Underground stock that's been hauled by 20s, that has a through pipe through one of the windows, I'm sure. Or if you look at pictures of the network as being delivered, or any of these actually are barrier vehicles, you'll see that. Not that they tend to do too much with these. I mean, they'll run these up the East Coast Main Line from Crown Point sometimes up to Doncaster. That's us just loaded in the tile for Tyne Yard. I'm going to stop yakking for a bit and look at this, the scenery and the scenario, because I'm guessing Chris has put some bits and pieces in and around. Just have our window open. Well, that's some 325s, they'll be there for Lowfell. Which is just down here. And what's on the front of this? Oh, retro. An EWS 37. So cool. We've got a bit of time at Newcastle as well when we get in, and short run to Heaton. So we'll have a little look around at the scenario stuff at Newcastle, and then we'll try and do some reading between there and Heaton. If you have enjoyed the 156 manual, I'm not even a quarter of the way through it, so I can do another one or two of these videos, I think. Might do something in the 153 or the 150, just for a bit of a change. I do tend to drive the 156 quite a lot because I do quite like it. Do you know, just as that happened, I'm going for my left light now. Still no markers. Does look pretty though, doesn't it? Love that brake rub sound on this as well. With the AP pack. Looks like we're going to be held outside Newcastle for a minute. So it's just loaded the Newcastle station tile, I think. That was silly. I now can't see when it's changed. Let's go and have a look around. I sense trouble. What are you waiting for? That's that Colas 67 that I have put in. Oh, Chris, I apologise. That's awesome. That is it Marley Man, the 67's bike comes with its own installer, and I've put it all in, but sometimes it's hit and miss with the installers. Sometimes they work perfectly, and other times you have to do it manually. While I love installers, because copying over geos is one of my least favourite things to do in Train Simulator. Do ignore my very basic water setting there. Yeah, I enjoy installers. While I was here to look at this repaint. This was on Blue Codes. This is the 360 that's been done to look like a 185, and fair enough. It's not perfect, but it's better than anything else we've got. Well done, whoever did that. Good going. So that's him out of the way. It's giving him a go. It was like it was 3D there. Did you see me do that? I was like leaning forward to have a look out the window. Alan. Right, we can go. I'm really annoyed that Colour 67 hasn't worked. That'd look awesome on that Network Rail train. Because Network Rail are using them now. What did Colas get? 2 or 4 of those 67s in the end? And we're through to platform 6, which is the other end of the station. So see, it's a real shame. Both Chris's scenarios, my setup has messed it up with repaints or yeah, repaints basically. I do also say to Chris that copying over geofiles is probably one of the most tedious tasks. Watch it pull in a bit. So I've got the DWS, the Schenker red one. I actually quite like the Colas livery on the 67. It does suit it, and I'm no real 67 fan. But it does suit it. We've got to pull in right to the end here. Right, I stood it here for, we said it was 7 minutes. Oh, that's really annoyed me. You guys don't know how much that's annoyed me. You do, because I just keep going on and on about it. Ooh. That 185 repaint, it does just fit in. It really is the missing link, isn't it? For anything north on the East Coast Main Line, even sort of the Manchester-Liverpool route, there's quite a few routes that we could have the 185 on. I mean, personally, I'm no fan of them. They're pretty plain, but they're good at what they do, aren't they? But from an enthusiast point of view, they don't do much for me. So those paces I can hear pattering away. That is a really nice repaint, isn't it? Oh god, we got the road. How long have we had that for? No, we haven't got the road. We've just the red bar's gone. Oh, this is nice. Look, just getting dark. Again, this is a scenario I've really enjoyed. If somebody said to me, do you fancy bombing up the East Coast Main Line at 75 mile an hour, I'd say no, he gets a 91. But it's worked. I've quite enjoyed it. And doing that extra section from Middlesbrough was just sort of opened things up, didn't it? And this is well further down. About here is a spot I've stood quite often when I was younger. My mum had let me leg it up here. Watch the comings and goings of Newcastle. It's a nice station, Newcastle station. I'm not a massive fan of it now. It's been barriered off, so you can't get anywhere really without a ticket. I know there's lots of people that'll go, well, barriers are there for a reason. I find them a nuisance, to use a very Thomas the Tank Engine word. Absolute nuisance. They cause nothing but confusion and delay. And they do. Yes, they're very simple, stick your ticket in and walk through it. But the general public aren't... It's common sense isn't very common, is it? And it makes you sort of a bit flustered. So I remember when being young and going on the underground when I was little, and thinking it was like the most biggest put your pants moment thing. You put that ticket in there and that barrier closes and your parents on one side and you're on the other. Oh, wish that was working. Just imagine it was, right? Look at it and see Colas livery. Listen to my voice. You will see the Colas 67 at the end of this train. Its tail lights will be working. See? Fabulous. Ignore the missing textures. And rejoin us in 3, 2, 1. Now we're back in the room. Excellent. So, yeah, that Colas 67 was absolutely lovely. Let's hope when that's ahead of us we can get the road. Yeah, that's it gone. Signal's changed. Let's make a move. I didn't take the reverse route actually there. I should have done. Let's get these guys into the depot. He hasn't actually told me what's that heating depot. I did like Newcastle there. That's just perfect for me. I'm going to put this up and he's going to go, there should have been 2 91s coming in there. There should have been a such and such going out the other side. But I can assure you I got no missing stock warnings when this started up. Quite like Manners Station. I've never been there, but quite often in the railway magazines, and if you're a big fan of the 91s like me, a lot of the photographs of the 91s, a lot of really good ones are taken from Manners Station. It's on my list. Next time I'm with my cousins, I'm going to do a day. I'm going to go by train, so I'll go up and maybe before I go and get inebriated, I'll do a little bit of spotting for 10 minutes. I say spotting, looking at trains. I don't really care what numbers they are, but looking at some trains. Again, I'm not sure if Chris is going to release this. I hope he does. But what he usually says is, oh, only if people want them. He's a bit modest like that. So if you do like this, give it a good thumbs up. And then I can say to him, look how many people have liked it. And I'm sure I'll get the questions, where's this scenario from? Where's that scenario from? And I'm literally just going to email all those comments to him repeatedly. So even if only one of you says that, I will email it to him repeatedly. I don't want to pee him off too much though, because he does me some nice scenarios. And I mean, 24-hour turnaround, that's just bloody good going to me. There's something funky going on with the lights on this. But again, that will be my end. I don't think I've ever driven on this bit of line. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's what you get when you're not paying attention. I can spad it because I've got the shunt signal there. Hold on. Where did that just come from? I'm just gonna check. I've got the shunt signal. I'm sure it's absolutely fine. Oh, it's something quite nice about arriving at a depot just as it's dark. And in my opinion, train depots are best viewed at night, when there's a little bit of hustle and bustle going on. So a quick look around here while we're there. So what have we got in? 91 Mach 4 set. Oh yeah, cool. This has made a few appearances, isn't it? I don't know what day is it. Based at Derby, isn't it? What 91 we've got at the back? It's a normal VTEC one. Oh, what's that? Grand Central HST. Alpha Lewis HST. So look at what's the other end. Ooh, the Highland Chieftain. Nice. Got to keep an eye on where we're going, to be fair. Oh, 180. I do like the Class 180 and a 185. I do like the 180, I just don't like the front. As you've heard me say before, it's like flat and it shouldn't be. 185, another 156. Shouldn't be approaching those buffer stops any faster than 5 mile an hour, I'll tell you that for nothing. Ah, I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. Alright then guys. Thank you very much for sticking with us. Big thank you to Chris, BH Reskins, superalbs. Anybody else I've forgotten, I do apologise. As per usual, thank you guys very much for watching. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. And if you want to see this up and running, this scenario, please leave a comment below and tell Chris you want to see it. I'm going to shut this unit down and send it off to bed to get it refueled, ready for the morning. Catch you guys soon.